Coming up, for confirmed dead, several trapped in debris as bad as building collapses in Leje. Woman in agony following death of her 3 children in link bus accident. And later on in our sports news, now Parish bankrolls record to the tune of 9.8 billion Ugandan shillings. You're watching UBC News Tonight once again at 3 minutes past 10 p.m. My name is Sharon Chomdesha with Mugalu Mohammed on sign language. In our top stories of the day, all members of parliament and ministers have been dispatched for a 1-week sensitization, awareness and support towards the implementation of the newly invented Parish Model Development Program. Now, this tour, which intends to majorly prepare the beneficiaries ahead of the program implementation, is set to kick off next Tuesday on the 10th of May, 2022.
On 26th February 2022, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni launched the Parish Development Model from Chibuku District.
The main pillar here is income going from Okore Echida Chonka to working for the Echida and the pocket.
With a startup package of 17 million shillings set aside by government for each parish, Minister of State in charge of Bunyoro Affairs, Jennifer Namuyango, confirms that so far there is a positive step being taken towards this initiative.
The 17 millions now must go, and most of this money is already with the district, the 17 million. So the 100 million per parish is a must. It is already in the budget, the coming budget.
To speed up the process, all members of parliament and ministers have been sent to the field.
The latest is that from Tuesday next week, all the ministers and members of parliament will be traversing the country. We'll be going to the districts. We start at regions. We have 18 regions. But now for us, they have been even increased, I think, to 20. So we shall move out. Like I come from Buked, so I will have to run to Buked with other colleague ministers and all the MPs. We start with a regional meeting, then we move to the different districts, then we go down to the parishes.
They will, among other tasks, carry out sensitization and mobilization.
We want to see the formation of the circles, we want to see them open bank accounts, we want to sensitize them in terms of mindset change, and we want to see data collection being done. And that 1 week is good enough for us to have the entire country roll out parish model.
In an exclusive interview with UBC, Minister Namuyango shares the details of the outreach.
We shall hold meetings in the parishes and clarify. Already books are out, like this one, the Parish Development Model Policy Framework. They're also going to give us guidelines. They are going to give us an abridged version of a parish model. So when we go, we are equipped and we have a common message to pass on to the people.
But how about the facilitation expenses for the teams?
We are not using any money. We are not. Nobody is going to be paid. Because we are members, as much as we are ministers, we are members of parliament, we are facilitated. So the same facilitation that we have been using is what we shall go with. We are going to our constituencies. So what kind of facilitation do you need again?
In this case, only publicity expenses and attendance facilitation for those covering long distances has been allocated.
We shall go. They may only pay for airtime on the different media channels. We go and talk. Because after the meetings, we shall also go to the different local radios, TVs and speak. And then we get feedback from the people.
The tour comes at a time when there is still a lot of skepticism, with many wondering whether government will be in position to secure the much needed funds. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Now, in more stories, a total of 1,773 students have been awarded PhDs, masters, degrees and diplomas in various disciplines at the 17th graduation ceremony of Bishop University in Bara City. Out of the 1,773 students, 932 were male and 841 were female. While representing President Museveni at the ceremony, Vice President Jessica Alupo urged the graduates to avoid getting rich quickly through corrupt means.
We thank you, our own Chancellor.
Vice President Jessica Alupo, in a speech read for President Yoweri Museveni, encouraged the graduates to utilize available opportunities and the skills acquired to cause transformation in communities they live. The Vice President also urged them to go out there and be relevant to their societies by continuously reinventing themselves by focusing on the people. She called upon the institutions of higher learning to focus on transforming the mind of leaders and managers to not only go beyond technical efficiency, but also encapsulate skills like innovativeness and selflessness, because this kind of education, which recognizes ideological concerns, will make a critical contribution towards transforming Uganda.
Today's graduation ceremony is a sign that the university is attaining maturity, yet doing great work of improving the human resource of our nation. Since the university has a Christian foundation, I trust that your children will form a formidable force in Uganda to fight social ills like corruption and work hard to build the nation towards self-resilience and development. You must avoid temptation of getting rich quickly through corrupt means. You are encouraged to utilize the available opportunities and use your skills acquired to cause transformation.
Who has doctorate of philosophy in language, culture and society of Bishop Stuart University, in the name of God the Father, the Son and the Holy Spirit.
I present to you the graduate who
Philip Johnson, Doctorate of Philosophy in Development Management of Bishop Stuart University, in the name of God the Father, the Son and the Holy Spirit.
The Vice President therefore thanked the parents and guardians for entrusting Bishop Stuart University with their children and supporting them in all expenses. Etole Ed Archangel, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ettore, and congratulations to all the graduates. In more stories, Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Chris Baryomunsi, has pledged to protect press freedom to journalists while exercising their profession. Now, Dr. Baryomunsi's pledge follows repeated actions of brutality against journalists in line of duty to inform the public. The minister's confessions were made at Miss Steele Hotel in Kampala, where he signed a memorandum of understanding with the Uganda Media Sector Working Group in commemoration of the World Press Freedom Day that was celebrated on the 3rd of April with the theme Journalism and a Digital Siege. Details follow from Irene and Dan.
Nobody has the right to get a stick or a gun and start beating a journalist.
Journalism is a calling, but often practitioners are faced with acts of brutality and abused in their line of duty. In the wake of continued attacks on media practitioners by the public and the state actors, the Minister of ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, has promised to protect journalists in their line of duty.
I will insist that the security, the police officers have no right whatsoever to harass journalists as they do their work, because media practice and journalism is a service like any other.
Dr. Baliomunsi says a regulation policy will be formulated and implemented to protect the fourth estate.
Media practice, is there room for regulation, or we should push for self-regulation? Do we as a state just keep quiet and leave the media to regulate itself, or there should be some form of regulation so there is order in society?
The chairman of the Uganda Media Council, Paulo Ekuchu, says this initiative will help shape the profession.
An optimistic person sees good things everywhere, is generally confident and hopeful of what the future holds.
Robert Kabushenga, the host, #360 mentor, cautioned journalists to embrace the opportunity of digital era.
Why do you think that you should go to an event and write a story in the notebook and then go to the office and type it and then produce it? It's complete madness. Just use your phone to type as the person is talking, and you key in send to the editor, and then your story will be processed and put up immediately, and it can be a developing story. So the traditional ways in which you've worked as journalists are going to become completely and utterly irrelevant. So you need to retool and to reskill for the digital world.
Digitalization is giving a chance for journalists to broadcast information fast and accurate. Irene Faith Nantongo, UBC News.
Now, 5 people were badly injured in Masanafu Chinonya village following a night attack by machete-wielding robbers. The robbers are believed to have attacked 3 different homesteads before fleeing with money. We have details of this gruesome story.
Residents in Kinonya village, Masanafu in Lubaga division are living in fear following a night attack by machete-wielding robbers.
Twafunye obuzibu olunaku lwajjo bwe twalumbiddwa ababbi betutebereza okuba ab'ebijambiya kubanga batemye abantu bafa abawere ddala 5 era we twogerera bali mu mulago embeera mbi abaana bali abasatu bali mulago omu ali awo ku ddwaliro lya Gateway
ali asura muno nze nsula muno zabadde saawa nga 9 netumuwulira nga akaaba yascreaminze ng'obulumiroza bungi nga mundu omwo it was a struggle bw'olaba ebifaananyi oba bw'oyingiramu omusayi gwonna guli ku bisenge kireka balwanyemuko.
It is believed that robbers jumped over the wall fence of one of the residents in the wee hours, smashed windows of their victims' houses before breaking in and badly injuring the occupants.
Twasanze akajji kali kageti nga kali open netuyingira twageze okutuuka wano ng'omulyango guno muggule okutuukamu nga asikali yalimu omukube nenkubira chairman wange chairman naye n'atutuukako wano netuddayo netuyita patro nemutwala mu ddwaliro
nga waliwo asikali era akubiddwa obubi ennyo era naye yaggibwaawo n'addusibwa emulago mu ssaawa ze zimu era oluvannyuma twazeemu netufuna essimu endala nga waliwo mu maaso era meters ntini okuva wano nga waliwo omukyala abadde ku booda n'owa booda nabo era nga batemuddwa naye nga tebatemeddwa.
The robbers are believed to have attacked 3 different homesteads, injuring 5 people before taking money from them.
Choina oina sente zisuwe zonna zoina nakati nendeekaano lwaleekaanye ne bankuba akabaawo ku mukono ne batema ne bafulo ejjambiya ku mutwe.
This is another homestead where one of the victims was also robbed. Her glass doors were smashed before her phone and money were taken.
Bali ababbi we bawulidde nti tuleekaanye ne bajja ne bayiwa endabirwamu yange. Naye obwedde omwalala ajja n'atemu ku brother enkozi yabadde mu nnyumba ng'alimu ne brother. Wetemu ku brother wange ng'abagamba sirika tolekaana. Twagala ssente olina ssente essimu eriwa.
Upon escaping, the robbers are believed to have met a boda and passenger who were also attacked. shattering the boda helmet to pieces and badly injuring the two.
Naye nga bwe bavuddeawo ne bagenda ne bakuba waliwo omusirikale akuuma ku mayumba agaddako naye ne bamukuba ne bamuyisa bubi ne bagenda ku kikomera ekiddako ne bayingira ne bamenya bo bagize kadirisa ak'oluggi badde tebakasibye ne bayisaamu omukono ne bayingira mulimu abawala babiri ne babatuukako abo babatutteko emitwalo 2 n'akasimu ak'amapeesa.
The chairperson of Kinonya village appealed to residents to be vigilant, encouraged landlords to register their new tenants, which will reduce criminality.
Naye abantu bonna be bayingiridde nga tekuliiko alina namba ya chairman, tekuliiko alina namba ya OC, tekuliiko alina namba ya defense. Kati twatuuse mu bikomera naye nga abamu babuuza n'obabuuza chairman wo yaani nga tebakumanyi nakumanyi. Ate nga abantu babeera mu nkiiko tebajja, abantu bapangisa tebabanjula.
All the victims were rushed to Mulago Hospital where they are nursing wounds. The deputy spokesperson, Kampala Metropolitan Police Luke Westgire, confirmed the incident and said police is still investigating the matter.
Efforts are on to trace these assailants and have them arrested on allegations of aggravated robbery. But we do call upon members of the public to work with the local authorities and also the police in their vicinity to see that they can safeguard themselves.
Sadat Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
In more stories, the Court of Appeal has Friday upheld the decision of the High Court by declaring Nops Dennis Sekabida as the duly elected Member of Parliament for Katikamu North constituency. This follows an election petition filed by NRM's Nasiru Gaddafi, challenging Sekabida's victory, citing election irregularities. The same court has ordered for a trial in an election petition filed by former Entebbe Municipality Mayor Vincent Dipo Kayanja, challenging Fabrice Blood Lulinda's victory for the Entebbe Municipality mayoral seat.
A panel of 3 justices of Court of Appeal, led by Justices Frederick Egonda Ntende, Christopher Madrama and Eva Ruswata, have today delivered various judgments in the election petition appeals. Among the judgments delivered include NRM's Nasiru Gaddafi challenging Nops Dennis Sekabida for his victory of Katikam North Member of Parliament seat, and Vincent Kanja Depo's petition against Fabrice Lulinda for Entebbe Municipality mayoral seat, among others. Nasiru Gaddafi, in filing the petition, wanted court to nullify Dennis Sekabida's victory for Member of Parliament of Katikam North constituency, alleging election irregularities. However, while delivering their judgment, read by Court of Appeal Registrar Lilian Buchana, Nasiru Gaddafi's election petition appeal against Nops Dennis Sekabida was dismissed with costs, citing that it has no merit. With this, Court of Appeal upheld High Court's decision of declaring Dennis Sekabida as the duly elected Member of Parliament for Katikam North constituency.
Petitioner even asks to be declared as winner for the post of Katikam North constituency. I think that is an insult to the people of Katikam North constituency and to court, because I think he thought court is not sober. So I want to congratulate the people of Katikam North constituency, and at the same time I want to say I am happy for this, because I think it is going to give me time to legislate, to represent and to appropriate for the people of Katikam North constituency. The issue of costs, because last time I had forgiven him because I had thought it was important for us to reconcile as people of Katikam North constituency. Now I am having another thought, so I will have a discussion with the people of Katikam North and we see.
Meanwhile, the same court has ordered for a retrial in the matter where High Court before Justice Isaac Mwata dismissed an election petition filed by Vincent Kayanja Dipo challenging Fabrice Lulinda's victory as the mayor of Entebbe Municipality.
Court of Appeal has unanimously set aside the decision of the High Court dismissing the petition of Vincent Kayanja Dipo and has ordered all witnesses in this matter to appear before court for a full trial.
In filing this petition, Kayanja asked the High Court to overturn Lulinda's victory on grounds that there was falsification of results in various polling stations.
Entebbe is that the Electoral Commission took over the powers of the people under the influence of the army to declare somebody was forced to be the winner.
However, the current mayor of Entebbe Municipality, Fabrice Lulinda, is optimistic that justice will be delivered.
We welcome the idea of having all the witnesses, because it's hard, the way they've been coaching them on paper, it's going to be hard to coach them in court. So we welcome this. This doesn't change what we are working on in Entebbe. It does not change how we've been operating, and we are still steadfast and very direct.
Nathan Rebecca, Namamonde Deborah, UBC News.
Moving on from that, in more stories, higher institutions of learning are considering integrating digital learning among the programs they offer in their universities going forward as a lesson learnt during the COVID-19 period where there were no physical lectures. During a meeting to review the curriculum of Ndeje University held at the Graduate School, Mengo, the Dean Faculty of Social Sciences, Saidamboge Najuma, said that they're going to look at different ways on how to administer learning using the internet. Take a look.
National Council for Higher Education requires higher institutions of learning to review their curriculums after 5 years for it to remain relevant to the students. In lieu of this, the Faculty of Social Sciences, Ndeje University, has engaged different stakeholders to share knowledge on what conspires in the different fields. This is aimed at finding out whether the programs they offer are still relevant globally, nationally, and at community level. On reviewing the curriculum, stakeholders recommended for merger, scrapping and modifying of some programs.
We requested that even at diploma, let the students who are doing diploma courses also get the entrepreneurial skills, because programs, government has put many programs that need that skill and information the students should have to have government programs implemented. Also,
one country changes day by day. There are new policies that have come up. How do we incorporate national child policy into these course units which we already for a social worker to come out knowing the elements of social work and knowing child protection as a content.
The Dean, Faculty of Social Sciences, Ndeje University, Dr. Saidamboge Najuma, said they plan to ensure that entrepreneurship is taught at the beginning of the course. She, however, puts emphasis on integrating digital learning in the programs.
That it will be very fair to include digital learning in our curriculum, and we are considering that to be included, especially tools for social media platforms and different ways of how we can administer learning online.
The President, Uganda Journalists Association, Matthias Rukundo, advises universities to teach students sign language.
Because it is more challenging when you are assigned by an editor to go and take and get a story from the field, and you're covering an association of the blind, and you entirely depend on the interpreter. Before you know, in between there, the message is not clear. So we've asked them to reconsider and consider, because it's a global issue.
The proposals forwarded are to be discussed further and recommendations made to review the curriculum and change some of the content to be taught to students in the next 5 years. I'm Nafka Farida in Mengo.
The Katikkiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, has emphasized the role of native institutions in the nurturing and grooming of leaders that deliver results. While delivering a keynote speech at the Nsibirwa annual public lecture, Mayiga highlighted the role of Buganda Kingdom in the development of the country.
Makerere University has organized the Nsibirwa annual public lecture in remembrance of his effort in acquisition of university land. This as the institution prepares to mark 100 years of its existence. Towards 10 a.m., Katikkiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, arrived and first planted a tree at Ssekabaka Mutesa Museum. Katikkiro Mayiga implored culture institutions to always pay attention to the quality of people they train to avoid producing watered-down leaders.
We are here in large part because of the wisdom, determination, and foresightedness of great men and women such as Martin Luther and Nsibirwa, and it is fitting that we should celebrate them.
The chairperson of the University Council appreciated the late Nsibira for his efforts in ensuring Makerere gets land for expansion.
They acquired land for staff housing estates in Kololo, Katalemwa, Makindye, Makerere North, and Waise. Such was the foresightedness of men and women like Owetibwa Martin Luther Nsibirwa.
And I wish to report that the reconstruction of our iconic building has commenced.
The daughter to the late Nsibira narrated circumstances her father went through after Uganda donated land to the university.
Nsibira being this, believing this to be in the best interest of the country, finally signed the clause on the 4th of September 1945, and he was assassinated on the morning of the 5th September near Namirembe Cathedral steps as he went for morning service. Nsibira lost his life, but Makerere College gained a university status sooner than it could have been before he gave his life.
The event was organized under the theme Revisiting the Life of the Late Katikiro Martin Luther Nsibira in the Lenses of Makerere at 100. Marian Womcha and Andrew Sebira, UBC News.
Now, scores of people are alleged to have lost lives, with some sustaining injuries following a collapse of a story building in Ndeje, Chibutika, Machindye Division, Wakiso District. By press time, 4 people had been confirmed dead, including a pregnant woman.
Thousands rushed to witness the collapse of a 4-storied building in Ndeje, Chibutika, Machindye Sabagabo, where several people are believed to have lost lives and sustained injuries. Efforts to rescue the victims were rendered futile as the rescue team from police delayed to reach the scene. It was all emotions as some relatives of the victims rushed to the scene to check whether their loved ones were still alive. Among the victims was a pregnant woman who, by the time of her rescue, breathed her last. This was so emotional for the husband. Locals allege that the collapsed building had been constructed within a month and attributed the collapse to a weak foundation.
N'ekizimbe spiri kwe kibadde kiddukira tebadde mu mateeka. Kizimbe kino kizimbiddwa mu mwezi gumu nga kyamyalire 3 okudda waggulu. Tusuubira okuba nti structural engineer oba municipal inspector yandibadde nga monitoring ekizimbe kyakola ku spiri kwe kibadde kiddukira ne engineer yennyini ow'ekizimbe. Tugenze otunulira engwa gye kivuguddemu nti baakisembeza ne kivuga ne mu ploti yaakyo ne kingira ploti endala mu bbanga. Obuzito obubadde bunene nnyo busobodde okisika ne bukosa abantu abalala babadde batetegese gendera mu mbeera nga bwetyo. Naye ng'obuzibu tusinza okusanga nabwo obunene nti obuyambi okuva ddala ne ku fire ne ku police headquarters tewali.
Locals tried to save the situation, but due to lack of enough machinery, they could hardly do anything. However, police, with the help of excavators, tried to rescue people trapped under the rubble. Despite the futile efforts, local leaders attributed the collapse of the building to use of unqualified engineers, low quality of cement and weak iron bars.
Kubeera mbona abazimba ebizimbe ba engineer tebakozesa bukugu bumala kuba bw'otunuulira ekizimbe kino ddala naawe ne bw'obeera lemani okiraba nga ddala seminti abadde munafu ali mu kizimbe ate ne laxist oba okubeerawo obulagajjavu oba obugayaavu mu balondoola ebizimbe nga bizimbibwa kuba ekizimbe nga bw'owulidde kizimbiddwa mu mwezi gumu naye mu mwezi gumu tujjemu maziga.
Structural inspectors and division engineers were also blamed for the collapse of the building. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
In more stories, passengers in Fort Portal Tourism City are stranded after the suspension of 90 link bus transport services following a national road carnage accident on Wednesday that claimed over 21 lives along Fort Portal Kampala Highway. Now, State Minister for Works Musa Ocheru yesterday confirmed that the suspension of link services is to enable government carry on thorough investigations in this case of accident and it is still underway.
The suspension of link bus services has forced passengers to opt for other transport means, but this has left many stranded.
So after some time,
at baby coach bus offices in Fort Portal, we found passengers stranded with their luggage waiting for the bus that had not reached. Passengers say due to the influx, the transport fee has been doubled from 20,000 to 40,000 shillings. Akankwasa Edward, the manager baby coach in Fort Portal, defends this, saying passengers are many as compared to the available buses. Akankwasa pleads with government to reduce on the suspension period to minimize on transportation challenges.
Government bademu service kubanga link ebera big company serving abantu banji weeks bili nyingi ba staff bayo abayino kulya abayina we barabirira.
Among the affected are students going back to schools for their second term.
Waste time waiting for the buses and what the suspensions are all delaying our work as us, and some of us were students, so we need to go as early as possible.
Zubeida Namatovu, the former inspector, Link Bus Services, says the suspension and investigations on accidents should not only focus on link buses.
Basi zijja zigwa enfunda n'enfunda tezitebaziyimiza kati lwaki batuyimiriza link bus kwokuyimira yesoose okukola accident obwo si bwenkanya mu bantu.
By press time, some passengers had opted to use taxis for easy movement.
In more sad stories, a mother at Fort Portal Regional Referral Hospital is mourning her 3 biological children as she lost in the Wednesday fatal accident in Makerere district. Nansubuga Mariam was coming from her husband's place in Kalijo village, Ntotoro sub-county, Bundibujo district with her 3 deceased children, heading to Iganga district to visit her sick father.
This is a sad story of Nansubuga Mariam, a resident of Ntoroko sub-county in Bundibujo district, who lost all her 3 children in the Wednesday link bus nasty accident along the Fort Portal Chenjojo Kampala highway.
Agenda nzo okuwulira nali ntudde n'abaana kuba nali n'abaana 3 nange nga ndi wakuna nagenda okuwulira nga aliwo ekintu nga motoka kyekonye awo saddamu okutegeera nagenda okudda engulu nga ndajja n'abaana bange baliwa nga ndaba abantu bonna abantu bamenyesemenyese abantu tebaliiko mitwe tebaliiko mikono na migulu.
She miraculously escaped with minor injuries. We found Miss Nansubuga at Fort Portal Referral Hospital in pain due to the sustained injuries and evidently in grief for her dead children. She is among the 57 survivors of the accident that killed 21 passengers along Fort Portal Kampala highway.
The speeding bus is the only thing she recalls before the accident left her unconscious.
Abasajja abavuga bus, abasajja abavuga bubi, tebabalabula mu bw'abantu. Ekirala kati nga nze ndi mukazi muzadde, nazaala abaana bange basatu bonna abaana baaweddewo.
She regained her senses later when she started looking for her children but could not find any by her side. She later on, after regaining consciousness, realized that all her 3 children had perished in the accident. The deceased children were aged 2 months, 3 years and 13 years respectively. Unfortunately, this mother buried none of her children due to her condition that required medical attention.
Omuzira kisa yenna waali ng'olina omutima gw'obuzadde ng'era ng'owulira ekiwundu ku mutima gwo bannange muyambe mutaase abaana bange simanyi nga naaguma.
Godfrey Bitamirwa, Nasubuga's husband, says after the deadly incident, his wife spends most of the time crying. Ibanda Martin, a principal psychiatric clinical officer at Fort Portal Regional Referral Hospital, says Nasubuga's condition requires special medical attention before it results into depression. He says counseling is the only remedy to allow the victim come to terms with what happened.
But if she continues with these signs and symptoms, after 2 weeks, then she will have entered another stage which requires now another kind of intervention because she will be developing depression.
Nasubuga wants government to regulate motorists while on the road to avoid putting passengers' lives at risk. She pleads for well-wishers' help to back up her treatment and other needs.
Bananga abantu tuli kuvundira mu ddwaliro obujjanjabi teri yadde n'akatono banange simanyi banange mutuyambe mututaase.
We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more stories.
Today in history.
On 6th May 1918, Kabaka Daudi Chwa II wrote a protest letter to the governor of Uganda, Sir Robert Corindon. Kabaka was protesting against the British proposal to amalgamate Uganda, Kenya and Tanzania into a federation. Buganda opposed the plan for fear that it would lose its identity of culture.
Need to send money to a loved one but you don't have enough on your phone? Have you run out of fuel but you don't have enough money? Do you want to pay for yaka or water but have insufficient funds? Or do you want to shop but you don't have enough money? Don't worry, get away with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial *165*5*3# to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves, high-flying saves, unbelievable goals. Out of this world celebrations.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Go TV. Love it.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*2
*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Uganda and Turkey enjoy warm, cordial, and mutually beneficial bilateral relations, especially in the areas of investment, trade, and tourism, and continue to grow steadily with huge potential. Against that background, the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, through the Uganda Investment Authority, is holding the Uganda-Turkey Investment, Trade, Industry and Tourism Summit 2022. The summit will be held on May 12, 2022 at Speak Resort Munyonyo in Kampala under the theme Accelerating Investment, Trade, Industry and Tourism between Uganda and Turkey in a post-COVID era. The summit will focus on key growth sectors in Uganda, namely agriculture and agro-value addition, manufacturing, industrial parks, mineral value addition, and tourism. The overall objective of the summit is to boost investment, trade, industry, and tourism between Uganda and Turkey by showcasing and identifying opportunities, sharing of experiences, creating business networks, and dealing with investment and trade challenges. The chief guest will be the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Follow the summit live on UBC and on Uganda Investment Authority's social media platforms with the hashtag InvestUGTurkey 2022.
This event is sponsored by Modern Tiles.
Welcome back to UBC News Tonight with me, Sharon Chomdisha and Magalu Muhammad on Sign Language. In more stories, Fort Portal was a beehive of activities as city dwellers celebrated the belated 48th birthday of Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the UPDF commander of the land forces. The day's activities included tree planting, a march past in town, and later music concert at Buhinga Playground. Take a look.
Speaker after the other, the invited guests praised the commander, Land Forces UPDF, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, for the good leadership skills and patriotism. Minister of State for Local Government, Victoria Businje Rusoke, praised the NRM government for prioritizing interests of the youth through skilling. Rusoke described General Muhoozi as a brave man who sacrificed his youthful life to serve and defend Uganda and Africa at large. General Muhoozi did not personally attend the belated birthday, but was rather represented by his uncle, Amos Nzeire Kaguta, who first sympathized with the victims of the link bus accident. Amos said that General Muhoozi decided not to personally attend the belated birthday party as a way of sympathizing with the accident victims. He expressed General Muhoozi's interests in partnering with the youth across the country for talent and skills development and transformation. He called youth from Tororo to also join the military as one way of serving and protecting their country. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
In more stories, the National Council for People with Disability in Uganda has asked the champions of water and sanitation hygiene to push for implementation of laws concerning their rights to access better sanitation services. Kalicia reports.
The Disability Council complains of non-compliance of both state and non-state actors not adhering to the set laws that compel them to provide easy access to buildings and use of other facilities that are suitable for PWDs, including WASH. Lillian Namukasa, the Program Officer Research, Information and Documentation at the National Disability Council, said the outbreak of COVID-19 presented enormous challenges to PWDs in which the set standard operating procedures made life more challenging for PWDs.
The government and other development partners work towards universal designs. Let's innovate new designs that are appropriate and accessible to persons with disabilities. We also request that the government can provide budgets that can support inclusive WASH.
She said government should help enforce the laws in place to make life easier for the PWDs to easily access both public and private places, but also adopt the recommendations of the study the Council conducted to improve the lives of people living with disabilities.
Also, when they are providing information, awareness raising, let this information be in accessible format so that persons with disabilities can listen to it. If you are having a meeting, ensure that you provide sign language interpreters for the deaf. Provide this information in Braille. Provide captions on television sets that you provide information for awareness raising.
The chairman of National Council for People with Disabilities, Waswa Yona, said the violations of human rights for persons with disabilities became more felt during the outbreak of COVID-19, where hundreds of PWDs were affected by the pandemic because they could not access the WASH services to observe the SOPs.
Water Aid, for having considered partnering with the Council and walk on the journey of making WASH services more inclusive and leaving no one behind.
The chairperson called on government and all champions of WASH to implement the set recommendations of the study done by the Council to ensure their rights are properly observed, but also implement the set regulations that have been neglected by key players. MP Sejoba Isaac of Bukoto County Midwest in Lwengo District and member of the Parliamentary WASH Forum called on leaders to take responsibility of ensuring the rights of people with disabilities are observed and laws implemented.
We provide clean water and which is safe and accessible to all people who are not accessing water, but with specific interests for this time. For people with disability.
Sandra Kahonde, Stephen Kalisia, UBC News.
Football packages, great entertainment,
sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. GoTV, this is where great stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
You're still watching UBC News Tonight, and in our business stories, despite continued economic disruptions brought by the COVID-19 pandemic and other international factors, government intends to retain most of this ending financial year's tax policies into the new financial year 2022-2023. The draft amendment bills which propose changes to the Income Tax Act, the Value-Added Tax, the Tax Procedure Code, among others, are currently before Parliament for debate and will be announced along with the budget reading for the new financial year in June 2022. Mark Wadulo reports.
We don't want to have so many changes within our tax laws every year, because that also makes your tax laws quite uncertain.
Government will not be changing any tax policies this coming financial year.
We take note that a lot of businesses have suffered during the COVID-19. Though also government coffers have been depleted because we haven't got a lot of revenues, we thought this wouldn't be the right time to add more taxes.
Instead, government has had to introduce tax amendments to enable clarification of some terms which were not clear before in a bid to ease tax administration.
Most of the things that are there are penalties for either not using or forging tax stamps, forging electronic receipts or not having them, and then not filing returns. So we have really upped up the penalties for non-compliance, because what we want to do is that we are going to generate a lot of our revenues from administrative effort of URA.
Some of these amendments include, under income tax, the redefinition of beneficial owner to mean a natural person who ultimately owns or controls a customer, or a natural person on whose behalf the transaction is conducted. The introduction of the definition of the legal person to include a natural person who either directly or indirectly has at least 10% shareholding or voting rights, and the inclusion of research institutions or organizations whose object is not for profit under exempt organizations. Under rental income, deductible expenses and losses allowable to taxpayers earning rental income shall be capped to 50% of their rental income in that year of income. Repeal of the deduction of interest expense incurred on a mortgage from financial institutions and applied towards the acquisition or construction of premises from which the rental income was generated. And change in computation of rental tax for individuals on chargeable income to 12% on gross rental income, among others.
This year we see exemptions for hospitals, those that are investing about $5 million US. And for us, we think, given the fact that we don't have any regulations in terms of how much hospitals can charge, we still feel this is something that needs to be thought deeper into. And maybe also the fact that we previously called on to government to change or make some changes, especially in terms of who benefits from tax incentives and exemptions.
In recognition of the need for more revenue collection, the government of Uganda prepared a domestic revenue mobilization strategy, a 5-year program that ends in January 2025 and is intended to strengthen Uganda's capacity to generate sufficient revenue to finance its expenditures.
The other one is to ensure that the goods that are coming in, especially imported goods, are not undervalued, because we are really looking at valuation. So now we have a system whereby we have indicative values of all items. When they come in, we shall say this shirt you're wearing costs $2 and the tax is so much, so there will not be so much dispute. We are employing scanners so that we will get to know what is in these containers without doing 100% physical verification.
Civil society points out that the first tax legislation Uganda had was in 1919, and that since then we have had tax laws that are not informed by a comprehensive tax policy.
It would have been very good to see that that framework is in place before the passing of this current budget, so that we know that we now have clear strategies to govern tax incentives, tax exemptions. But we see that there's still a criteria being provided within the Income Tax Act, VAT Act, Stamp Duty and so on. But we feel it would be good to actually see that we're having a review of some of these of these incentives that have previously been given out. For instance, we see Bujagali power project getting an exemption, an extension of its exemption.
In spite of trying to widen the taxable base and implement efficient tax administration, URA was expected to collect 21.3 trillion shillings, but be as it may, this target is likely not to be met. Wadulo Markanold, UBC News, in Kampala.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
From our sports desk, defending champions Uganda Christian University came from behind twice as they drew 2-2 away to Kumi University in the Pepsi University Football League. Now, Mary Aliga gave the host Kumi the lead in the 12th minute, but it was cancelled out by Geoffrey Gaganga. Geoffrey 10 minutes later. Alinga scored again in the 28th minute, but David Balaga scored at the start of the second half. I beg your pardon now, that's Now Special has reaffirmed its status as the #1 fan of Uganda rugby with a staggering 9 point. Managing Director David Valencia today at the Rugby Crane Sevens Team Appreciation Dinner. Both the men and women's teams have been rewarded with 58 million and 10 million respectively given their recent international exploits. The investment covers a chunk of the rugby's union calendar, including the ongoing Rugby Premier League, amongst others, and the annual dinner. Depending on the level of the partnership, Now Special will take on either the title sponsor or the beverage sponsor role for the various properties it has committed to support for the respective number of years. Now, Neil Brewery's Managing Director David Valencia said that the partnership with Uganda Rugby has been a journey and not a destination. But like all journeys, this too has had its fair share of bumps, yet they fade in comparison to the highs Now Breweries and Rugby in Uganda have experienced over the years. Most recently, the Rugby Crane's 7th triumph that also ensured World Cup qualification in September this year in South Africa. The Uganda Rugby Union President Humphrey Kangwaje expressed utmost gratitude towards the commitment from Now Special, revealing that it was enabled the union to strategically plan for the future. He promised the best technical and tactical nows for the Federation to prepare a competitive team starting at the Commonwealth Game in July before September's World Cup in South Africa. Still in our sports stories, defending champions Uganda Christian University came from behind twice as they drew 2-2 away to Kumi University in the Pepsi University Football League. Mary Aliga gave the hosts Kumi the lead in the 12th minute, but it was cancelled out by Geoffrey Gaganga. Geoffrey 10 minutes later. Aliga scored again in the 28th minute, but David Balanga scored at the start of the second half and equalized, with the game later ending in a 2-2 draw. The result sees Kumi University remain on top of Group A with 7 points from 3 games, while Uganda Christian University is second with 4 points from 2 games. International University of East Africa and Victoria University are third and fourth with 0 points. Action in the Pepsi University Football League continues on Saturday with two-time champions Makerere University Business School away to Muni University in Arua, while on Sunday Gulu University hosts Ndeje University.
Wale wa Kumi University wako na bao ya kwanza ambao walipiga. Sasa wale wa UC.
That brings us to the end of UBC News Tonight, today on the 6th of May 2022. My name is Sharon Chomdusha with Mugalu Muhammad on Sign Language. Thank you so much for being a part of this beautiful bulletin. You can stay tuned for more programming coming your way. Have a lovely night and a great weekend ahead of you.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or